Morning, my name is Chris Wilson. This presentation is for HPED 553-10, Professor Bernerbo, Outdoor Lifetime Leisure Skills, Fitness Skills. And I'm going to work today with you on the golf swing. Today, we're going to work on two things that a lot of high handicap golfers and beginning golfers want to begin to get better at, and that's more consistent contact and more consistent accuracy. So we're going to work through just a few principles on how to do that and get you started here right away. Golf is a great sport. It can be very frustrating at times, but it's a sport that you can do pretty much your entire life. So it's one that you definitely want to be able to go out and play with friends, play it well up into your 80s and 90s, as we see. The first thing we're going to talk about today is our grip. Getting a consistent grip is very important. That's going to help you at contact point. It's going to help eliminate several things to go right or left. It's going to really help in your direction, and it'll help you be more consistent with your contact. So having a good grip is important. Two things we look for if I'm a right-handed golfer in our grip. A lot of people put their left hand and their thumb straight down the shaft, okay? We want to try and make a V. The two V's we talk about are the V that are created between my index and my thumb, and the index and my thumb on my right hand. Now, if I'm a right-handed golfer or a right-handed player, okay, what's crazy about this game is that you're actually doing your work with your left hand. That's one of the hardest parts about this game. So although I'm right-hand dominant, I throw right, I play tennis with my right hand, I shoot basketball with my right hand, I serve volleyball with my right hand. When I play golf, now all of a sudden the left hand, particularly the last three fingers of this hand, are what's doing the work. So if you can start to get your last three fingers holding on and gripping your club, that's really what's doing the work. The right hand just kind of follows through and makes a firm grip at contact. The V's we're talking about, as I allow the club, there's two grips we can look at. If you're a beginner and you are a lot of times have maybe weaker wrists, we look at doing an interlocking grip. Interlocking grip is where my index finger and my pinky come together. From there, I want to address the ball with my club face. I want to get this V pointing to my right shoulder, and this V also pointing towards my right shoulder, okay? So grip. You want to have club face as addressed, pointing to your target. Our target's going to be about 100 yards today, and we're looking to get our club face squared up and our grip solid, okay? So that's what we're going to start out is with our grip. Once we have our grip, then we want to start to look towards our direction. Pretty much with direction, anywhere my hips are facing is where my club face is going to finish. Much like in baseball, if I open up my hips, I'm going to take the ball down the line. Much like in tennis, wherever my hips are, the ball is going to therefore go as well. Same principle in golf. So a lot of people will use stakes or clubs to try and make sure you're getting a directional to your target. We call that in golf addressing the ball, and setup. You'll hear that as well, address and setup. A couple things about setup for our hips and address. Real simple thing, people make it difficult. It's much like baseball. There's thousands of baseball players out there. No baseball player has the exact same swing. Some people start their hands here. Some people start their hands here. Some people have their hands here. The main point is, in golf, just like in baseball, the swing is really only about that big. It's about what you're doing at contact. So you can do all kinds of crazy takeaways and clicks and turns and everything else you might want to do, but what really matters is how you get that club from here to contact point at a club face. As long as we're at a good face and contact and we're finishing to the target, your ball's going to go where you want it to go. A couple things we see in rotation and turn. Once I set up my directional, my hips are to my target. A lot of things we see with beginner golfers in their setup is they're too far away from the ball. can see how I'm almost like a pendulum. I'm just hanging over top. What we want to do is get our club face square. One way to address this is bring the club up, bring your biceps back into your chest. That's going to be what we call the slot, or a natural position for setup. Once I do that, now look, I come to the ball. Well, that's really where I should have been. Okay, I'm going to show you that again. A lot of people set up way too far away from the ball. Their arms are off their body. The space between the clubs and my legs or my core is much farther away. This gives you a pendulum. Okay, you have no legs, no other power. This isn't a power position. We have our grip. Once I bring this club up, I pull my biceps back into my chest. That's really the power position. Now look what happens when I go to address. I'm far away from the ball. I actually need to move up towards the ball. And now this is where my address should be. My grip's good, okay? My stance is good. A lot of people put their chest down. You want to get your chest up a little bit, okay? You want to kind of be where your triceps are right over top of your knees, right over top of your toes. So really we're just going to work about contact and direction. That's all we're working on today. We're trying to go at that 100-yard pin. So I came up on my toes a little bit too far there. So I need to keep some weight into my heels. But our direction wasn't too bad. Contact was good. You're a beginner golfer. You want to work on contact point and direction. If you can solve those two things and become more consistent with your contact and your direction, you're going to lower your handicap. As simple as that. We're using a pitching wedge here, just trying to get 100 yards out. Again, set up. Our grip, we're going to make our two V's, interlocking if you'd like, or overlapping grip, your choice. Direction good, contact good. A little bit straight, not a lot of loft on there. One thing that you want to remember is the turn. In the turn, it's very simple. How I teach players to turn: take your right hand back as far as you can, or where it's comfortable. Have your left hand try to join it. Now, most of the time, your left hand can't get there. So you need to bring your right hand down. This is where your slot position is going to be from your rotation and turn. Let me show you that again. Right hand goes up. It's going to be a little higher than what you can get to with your left hand for the most part. My left hand comes to try and join it. If it's too far out, you're going to be off balance. Come to a position in your rotation that you can get to, lower the right hand to it, and pull through. What that might look like here in address, from this side, here, lower it down, and finish through. And everything I do is just finishing to that target. We want that club face finishing to the target. In that swing, the last thing we'll talk about is pull. A lot of players put their thumbs down the shaft. You'll see their wear marks there. They try to push the club down and push the club through, and they bring their club face or head through the ball first. That would be incorrect. What we want to do is think about pulling. In this motion, all we're doing is pulling the club handle through the ball first. The club face follows, and then I finish. Just like tennis. When I pull a tennis racket through a ball, I'm pulling the handle through the ball first. Just like a baseball. When I strike a baseball, my hands come through and the bat head follows. Golf is the exact same way. Set up. Address, direction, grip, power position, turn and hit. I pulled that ball a little bit, so you can see it's a little bit to my left. I felt my right hand come through a little bit more there. That meant I pulled a little bit more with my right than my left. And as a tennis player, I find that happens pretty often because I'm so used to my right hand. This is a left-handed game when I'm a right-handed player. Came through. There I focused on my left hand too much. So I came through and my club face turned. It opened up and I sliced off. Those are some of the things you're going to find as a beginning golfer. They're going to occur. Again, we're trying to find you a consistent contact and a consistent direction. What did I do there? Came up a little too fast and topped the ball. Did you see it had topspin on it? So I pulled up a little bit, trying to create power. Rather than allowing the club to create the power, I try to torque and create too much power. So now that I've shown you 3 common errors, let's try to hit one right down the middle and put something together. Address, power position, we call it hands in the slot. Forward press, you're going to hear that sometimes. A forward press is that I'm just pressing the club a little bit forward. That way the club handle goes through the ball first. I pulled through there a little too soon.